proper hand and sitting posture. Sitting before your piano is a great experience and exciting, especially at the initial stages of learning. You can easily just sit, reach out on those beautiful keys, and begin to play some nice music. But before you begin to play the piano, you must train yourself to sit in a proper posture. You must also maintain this posture throughout the playing session. This is important because 1. It prevents you from suffering strain injuries as you continue playing. 2. It helps maintain your energy. You will not quickly get fatigued but shall instead keep on playing longer. 3. It helps your mind stay alert. You will not suddenly forget how to play, say, an M or a CMAJ7. First, sit comfortably. Ensure to place the bench on a level ground. This will prevent you from sitting while leaning sideways. Such a posture would exert pressure on the back as body weight is not evenly distributed on your buttocks. The bench should not be too low or too high either. To know whether you are seated properly, use the following list as a checklist. Point A. Your feet should be rested flat on the floor. They provide stability to your body. You should also not keep them either too close or too far from each other. Point B. You should be seated towards the edge of the bench. That means that you do not sit on the entire bench, as that will probably make your feet unaligned with the floor. It will also cause you to curve your back, which is injurious. Avoid using a bench with a backrest as it will limit your flexibility while playing. Point C. Your knees should be bent as slightly above 90 degrees. Also keep them just below the keyboard. You will be able to best use pedals at this position. If they are not just below the keyboard, it means you have placed the bench too far from the piano. Furthermore, if the bending angle is greatly higher or lower than 90 degrees, it means you have to adjust the height of your bench. Point D. Your back should be straight. Do not curve or overstretch your back. Curving it exerts pressure on the spine and you will suffer pain. So does overstretching. Keep it naturally straight and you will have more energy to keep on playing. Point E. Your shoulders should stay loose and not raise. Raising them makes you stiff. That means you will play awkwardly. What you need in order to play smoothly is flexibility and not stiffness. Point F. Your arms should stay parallel to the keyboard. You should also place them a bit higher than the keyboard. The elbows should be at a distance where the arms do not become too stretched or too folded. Such a distance will be comfortable for you and you will play with less fatigue. Point G. Your hands should hover above the keyboard such that only the tips of your fingers touch the keys. Make sure you do not rest your hands on the keyboard. This will allow you to move your hands freely as you play. It will also prevent injury to your wrist. Point H. Your neck should be straight. Keep it parallel with your back. You may slightly lean forward so as to keep the keyboard better. But ensure that your back remains straight and so does your neck. Bending your neck strains the spine as is injurious. This checklist is not entirely exhaustive, But you will never go wrong if you faithfully adhere to the points we have listed. You will instead stay in perfect health and energetic throughout your playing sessions. Remember, you will be playing the piano for a long time. Bad health should therefore never stop you. Or should it? Stay in shape then. Notes and rhythm. In our previous lesson, we learned about proper hand positioning and sitting posture. You will now learn about notes and rhythm. In order for what you are playing to be intelligible and musical, you must play notes and in a rhythmical way. Music is literally defined as an organized sound. Any unorganized sound is referred to as noise. I know you don't want to be making noise at the piano. And so to avoid that, you must learn about musical notes and rhythm. Let us begin with defining the two. A musical note refers to the pitch and duration of a particular sound. It is written with special symbols so that you read as you play. A series of notes from a musical scale that you play continuously to produce music. Rhythm, on the other hand, refers to a defined pattern of differentially pitched notes that you play over a beat, a metronome, or a meter. When you play several notes in rhythm, you will be producing organized sound, and that is basically music. We have said that notes are pitches. On the piano, different pitches or different notes are marked by letters of the alphabet. Each key represents a different note. On an 88 key grand piano, they are marked as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, B, and then continues in a cycle from C to B on the entire keyboard. They are named from left to right. The more right you go, the higher the pitch becomes. Note that if what you have is not an 88 key grand piano, the first note on your keyboard is mostly going to be a C. All music you will ever play is within these pitches. On a staff, the pitches are represented by small ovals. We shall learn more about the staff and notes position later on this course. Moreover, as you play music, the duration of notes is determined by its value. That means there are different types of notes and each has its own value. These values help you to know the number of beats each note receives. To determine the values, you need to refer to the bottom number of the time signature. Let us first define a time signature. When you are reading and playing music, you are needed to play it just as it is sang. That means you will not play a high note while it is actually time to sing and play a low note. You will also not prolong a note while it actually time to pause. To help you play just right, a numerical sign is placed in front of the staff and is what you call a time signature. It is made of two numbers on atop the other. The numerator denotes the number of beats on that bar or measure, while the denominator denotes the value of the beats. For instance, if you see 4x4, it means there are 4 beats on that bar and each beat has 4 values. Now that you have known what a time signature is, let us determine the value of each note. A number 4 denominator means the value of the notes are 1. A quarter note, This one receives one bit only. 2. A half note. This receives 2 beats. 3. A dotted half note. It receives 3 beats. 4. A full or whole note. This one receives 4 beats or a full beat. In many cases, you will only find 4 as the value of beats. At times, you may encounter a different number, which means there are more notes with different values. However, don't worry yet. We shall learn more about time signature later in the course. When you play notes with different values over and over, you will have a rhythm. A rhythm is what will make a song. Different songs have different rhythms. You will therefore be doing yourself a great service when you practice to play different songs. Before we proceed to the next lesson, let me introduce you to sharps and flats. Every note that you have named has a flat and a sharp. A flat lowers the pitch of a note by a half step, while a sharp raises the pitch by a half note. Literally speaking, a flat is the note to the immediate left, while a sharp is the note to the immediate right of any note. In writing, a sharp is symbolized with hash, while a flat is symbolized with small b later. That means an A sharp is written as A hash, while an A flat is written as A with small b. All flat notes includes C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat. The sharp notes, on the other hand, are C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and B sharp. You may find the same key labeled with 2 notes. For instance, G flat is also an F sharp. That should not worry you. It is supposed to be like that. It is also good to note that black keys are not there as sharps to the white keys. There are sharps and flats in both black and white keys. Look down at your keyboard. Can you identify sharps and flats? Placing fingers. You have now learned about notes and rhythm and proper sitting in front of your piano already. It is now time to literally hit those keys and play some music. In this lesson, you will learn about placing fingers. Finger placing really. Yes, because what you will be playing with is your fingers. First, to avoid injury to your wrist, you must place your fingers correctly. Not only that, but also that you may strike each key easily and correctly. If you do not learn to do it rightfully at this early learning stages, you will have problems playing more complex notes later on as you advance. So it is only prudent enough to stitch in time and save 9. Another thing with proper placing of fingers is that your hand will quickly learn where each key is. Have you ever heard of visually impaired person playing the piano so beautifully and wondered just how? It is because, in addition to other heightened training, their hands have become trained to know how the keys follow each other. And so, without even seeing them, they will play the piano with expertise. While you are playing, a good technique is to play without looking down at the keys. Just like someone who's visually impaired, if you happen to be reading music and at the same time you want to look down to see the keys, you will have to let one go as you cannot do both simultaneously. The only way to play without awkward stops or without losing tempo is by playing without looking down. That will, of course, demand a lot of practice on placing fingers, but once you pick the technique, nothing can stop you. In order to correctly place your fingers, follow the following general rules of thumb. Point 1. Place your hand just naturally. While playing, do not overstretch your fingers or curl them too much. Let them spread out easily over the keys. It is good to put into use all fingers from the thumb to the pinky finger. Each finger should play the nearest key it easily reaches. Some players tend to entirely use the index finger because it seems easier. Such people are the first to complain when more complex chords are presented to them. When you exercise all the fingers, you will easily navigate over the keys and even more complex chords will just be a breeze. Remember that it's much easier to only play the thumb on white keys and not the black keys, unless it is unavoidable. This is because if you play the thumb on the black keys, it being shorter will require you to move your hand close to the fretboard. The other longer fingers will have to be awkwardly curled so as to play the white keys. Awkwardly positioned fingers means awkward music. To avoid such, let your hand be as naturally placed as possible. Refer to the first lesson of this course to learn more on posture. Point 2. Keep the fingers arched. You should strike the piano keys with your fingertips. For you to achieve that, your fingers must be curled or arched. While in this position, your thumb will stay straight. Imagine holding a small ball with your hand. Your fingers will curl around that ball in some way, right? They should look exactly like that while you are playing the piano. Point 3. Your fingers control the arms. Now with your fingers on the keys, you will be required to move over different keys to play different notes. There are two ways by which you can move over to them. First, you can move your hand just from the wrist, and second, you can move the whole arm. The first method is injurious to the wrist and you should not adopt it. Instead, learn to move your fingers together with your whole arm. This will utilize more muscles and will keep you playing longer without fatigue. Point 4. Piano fingering. Sheet music utilizes a feature called fingering. It is universal and helpful to you as you begin learning the piano. It works by numbering your fingers and then each finger is assigned a numbered note on the keyboard. The fingers are numbered consecutively from the thumb all the way to the pinky. The thumb is number 1 while the pinky is number 5. This is on both of your hands. Having numbered your fingers, you then place them on the keys, each finger corresponding to its assigned note. The right hand thumb is always placed on middle C and all the other fingers fall into place. The music you will be reading will have numbers therein to help you play the right notes. We shall learn more about piano fingering later on this course. Point 5. Your fingers are unique. There are people who have long fingers, others have short ones. You will still find others with fat ones while others have thin ones. All these people can play the piano if they want, and their body features should not limit them. That said, you should know that you too have got your own unique fingers that may not necessarily look like mine. That means my technique of playing the piano may not turn out to be the easiest one for you. You should therefore only adopt that which works best for you when you just naturally place your fingers on the keys. For instance, if you have short fingers, the universal piano fingering may not favor you. You can therefore assign your own numbers to your fingers and harmonize it with the universal numbering. The point is that you should be as comfortable as possible even when playing the complex chords. You have now learned about placing your fingers, since it is not just sitting and striking the damn keys, right? Remember that when you adopt the right techniques as early as now, it will be such a breeze at the advanced stages. So you are basically setting the foundation of being the best pianist out there. Exercise. You have successfully gone through the first section of this course. Here are some exercises to help you practice what you have learned. Exercise 1. Proper hand and sitting posture. Practice to sit before your piano. Use the checklist to ensure you have correctly done everything. Try to memorize the requirements and do everything without referring to the checklist. Exercise 2. Notes and rhythm. Strike the keys to fill the different pitches. Note the low pitches and high pitches. Try to name the keys on your keyboard, each key with its corresponding note. Notice the cycle after you name them. Identify all the similarly named keys. Play each key and feel the sound produced. What is the difference? Play different notes over a beat or metronome. Use a time signature to calculate values of different notes and then play them. Play different notes continuously. Repeat the same notes over and over. Notice the rhythm. Identify different notes on your keyboard. Find their sharp notes. After finding sharps, now find the flat notes. Which keys doubles up as a flat for one note and a sharp for the other? Strike each one and feel the sound. Is there a difference? Exercise 3. Placing fingers. Point number 1. Place your fingers on the keys. Let your longer fingers reach out the black keys while your thumb and pinky stay on white keys. Move your hands over the entire keyboard, striking different keys. Point 2. Try to memorize different keys and play them without looking. Point 3. Exercise moving your entire arms as you play and not the wrist. Point 4. Number your fingers and place them on the keys. Trying playing according to your finger numbers. Point number 5. Play the following sequence of notes with your numbered fingers. Remember to always place your right hand thumb on middle C. Right hand 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. Left hand 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. Play over and over. Point number 6. Write down your own sequence, practice it and enjoy the rhythm. These exercises will help you remember what you have learned. Keep in mind that practice makes perfect. So, with discipline and focus, you will move on unto piano expertise. Just keep the passion.